Hello everyone. Anyone who spends a lot of time on the internet can easily boast that they have seen it all. It seems almost impossible to surprise people today. However, there are still unusual objects, phenomena, and processes that remain hidden in the depths of the web, and you should see them, at least on video. So, let's get it on. Dry pork jamón is a true masterpiece of Spanish cuisine. According to one version, thanks to this product, Spaniards came to America. It's believed that Columbus took large quantities of this meat on his journey, as it can be stored for a long time. This helped the sailors to reach the distant lands. Of course, today the method of preparation of jamón is different, although the general idea is the same. The meat is salted raw and dried without any heat treatment. The drying process can last from 7 to 12 months, and sometimes even longer. The highest quality jamón is treated for up to 48 months, and the harder the meat, the longer it will last. Many of our spectators have traveled by airplanes, or have at least seen them in the sky. These huge metal birds rise with the help of powerful engines and carry people on board to other cities and countries. But one phenomenon is rarely seen: small whirlpools of water near the turbines. They form only when the air on the track is humid and appear only for a few seconds. You might think that when two bodies of water meet, such as a river and a sea, or two seas, they must necessarily mix. After all, they are, well, water. In the sea, there are no walls or obstacles that prevent it from coming together, but in reality, things are a little different. The limits of reservoirs not only pass on the bottom. The difference in density, salinity, and temperature lead to the fact that when two bodies of water meet, they look like two walls colliding with each other. In several places on Earth, you can see this phenomenon. The separation of water bodies seems especially impressive when a vertical halocline appears, clear boundaries between waters with different characteristics. In California's Yosemite National Park, there's an amazing natural place known as Horsetail Fall. In fact, it's a seasonal waterfall that appears only in winter and early spring on the east side of the El Capitan mountain range. But the most interesting thing happens at the end of February. For a few days, visitors to the park have the opportunity to see a rare phenomenon: the transformation of an ordinary stream of water into a cascade of fire, resembling lava from a volcano. In fact, this particular natural phenomenon is a visual deception, the secret of which is hidden in the reflection of the rays of the setting sun at a certain angle and in good climatic conditions. The unusual effect lasts only a few minutes, making the place even more fantastic. Does the color black have different shades? Oh yes, and not only that, there is a material that's considered the blackest in the world. British physics engineers at Surrey Nanosystems have developed a unique material known as Vantablack, which is considered the darkest in the world. According to the developers, it absorbs almost all light, except for a small 0.035%, which is reflected on its surface. It's practically an artificial black hole. Another interesting feature of this material is that, even when curved, it still looks flat, because to the eye, the curves are completely invisible. It seems that someone has cut a hole in space, and behind it there's absolutely nothing. The blackest material is a set of vertical, widely spaced carbon nanotubes. This type of structure determines the unique properties of Vantablack. The fact that snakes change their skin is known to everyone, but not everyone has seen this process. If you're not the happy owner of a pet snake, of course. In addition, very few people can boast of having seen a rattlesnake, one of the most dangerous species of these reptiles in nature, shedding its skin. When the snake slides on the ground, sharp stones and other hard objects scratch the top layer of the skin. Approximately once every 2 years, snakes shed this layer. But not only because the old skin is damaged, these creatures grow throughout life and therefore needs to constantly change the top layer of skin to feel comfortable. Of all the lightning that forms in the world each year, only 25% reach Earth. These celestial discharges usually strike poles, trees, towers, and solitary antennas, and generally anything that protrudes from the ground at a considerable height. But sometimes it happens that lightning does strike the ground, leaving behind mysterious but beautiful drawings. Just imagine what such a stroke can do to a person if it can literally crush a concrete slab. By the way, if a really powerful lightning strikes the sand, then at the place of impact you may find fulgurite, an unusual glass tube created by nature. Have you ever wondered how military equipment is stored when it's not used for a long time? Of course, you can simply put it in some kind of hangar and wipe it periodically with a cloth, but over time, due to the long period of inactivity, the equipment can fail. To somehow solve this problem, mankind came up with the conservation of equipment with the help of heat shrink film. No, this is not a joke. They really made a special heat shrink film to wrap airplanes, helicopters, and cars. Just add a beautiful red ribbon and the military equipment will become a birthday present for a special person. And most importantly, the question is, what is inside?
Whoa.
This chicken called Jogku from the city of Germantown is definitely different from her relatives. Can you imagine a chicken playing the synthesizer? But why imagine when you can see Jogku, who learned to play this musical instrument in just a couple of weeks. She even performed at America's Got Talent.
No way. That is crazy.
And the musical chicken has her own band of birds. However, judging from the video rehearsal, they're not quite ready, but it will definitely be punk rock. Fire tornadoes occur in nature when a strong wind hits trees or grass on fire. This phenomenon has an incredible destructive power. The temperature in the center of the fire rises to 1,000 degrees Celsius. At the same time, everything near the epicenter of the fire tornado is absorbed into the fire by the rising airflow. This continues until the fire burns everything that can burn and is within reach of the tornado. In addition, fire tornadoes are very insidious and literally prevent firefighters from doing their job. For example, by taking over the fire hose and lifting it several tens of meters into the air. And the wind was so strong that the Canadian policeman you see on the screen managed to recover the equipment only between 3 people. But too late, because it had been damaged. The behavior of this tornado annoyed the rescuers so much that one of them even started throwing stones at it. It has long been known that some living organisms such as fish, insects, and even fungi can emit visible light. People noticed this characteristic in ancient times, but even today, researchers still have many questions about the nature of luminous fungi. Like other light-emitting organisms, bioluminescence in mushrooms is made possible by a chemical reaction involving oxygen and luciferin, a pigment that emits light. As a result, the fungus tissue shines with a greenish light. Most species of fungi emit a faint light, which can only be seen in very dark conditions, but there are some that glow very brightly. In addition, it's possible to distinguish these luminous spots in the middle of a dark forest at a distance of up to 40 meters. If you're close enough to these fungi, you can even read. Today, scientists know 70 species of mushrooms that can glow, but it's still unclear why they do so. What about unusual dishes? No, we're not talking about dried grasshoppers or wasp cookies. The Ainsworth restaurant in New York cooks chicken wings in gold. They're absolutely edible and even quite tasty. The wings are marinated, baked, and then covered with a layer of golden powder. A serving of 10 wings of gold costs $45, while 20 costs $90. In the preparation process, the chef uses 24-karat gold, which is completely harmless to health because it has no impurities. Talking about the idea, the president of Page Hospitality, the owner of Ainsworth, Brian Mazza, said they wanted to create something that customers had never seen or tried before. Well, looks like they succeeded. Can a lake be made up of stones but at the same time behave like water? Easily, especially if there's an active volcano nearby. For example, the eruption of the Puyehue volcano located in southern Chile in 2011 covered the territory of Argentina with a cloud of volcanic ash. The streets of the city of San Carlos de Bariloche were covered with a 10-centimeter layer of ash, so that absolutely everything there ended up covered with ashes and pumice. Including the lakes, whose water was almost completely turned to stone. Of course, the products of the eruption covered only the surface of the reservoirs, but it still looks impressive.
Cool.
Have you ever seen anything like it? As in a horror movie, this tree begins to bleed when it's cut down. The nightmare of a woodcutter that has nothing to do with reality, or simply the resin of some trees known as dragon blood. It's released when the bark is notched and turns red when it comes into contact with oxygen. Looks very scary. If you always thought that bears are terribly slow and clumsy predators, then you're terribly mistaken. Bears can run fast, reaching 40 kilometers per hour. So if you're not Usain Bolt, you won't be able to escape. But climbing a tree is also a bad idea, because of this.
Oh God.
There's no way out, but bears can't climb stairs or some power towers because they can't grab them with their legs. A train of shrews. Sounds absurd, looks funny and a little ridiculous, but this is the way the little shrews, together with their mother, move from one hole to another. When it's time to move, the first cub clings to the mother, the next clings to the first, and the third to the second, and so on. The result is a small fluffy train that travels on the surface. At night, the family of shrews, which form a living chain, can travel up to 8 kilometers.
Psst, dude, are you looking for new technologies and great gadgets? Are your thoughts focused on the future? Do you love huge vehicles and can't imagine your life without robots around you? Then visit TechZone and you'll find all this and more. The link is in the description. You interested? Great.